I discovered this method of manifesting years ago, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. This is serious manifesting, fast, no BS. Hi, everyone. Robert Zink, your miracle mentor and alchemy success coach. And today we are soaring high like a big, beautiful eagle. We're always flying in the direction of your dreams and goals. High flyers want to remind you to claim your 30 minutes of miracle mentoring and alchemy success coaching. Find out what a mentoring program can mean for your life. We've helped people in 60 different countries, and we can help you too. Visit us at lawofattractionsolutions.com. High flyers, use this method to get literally anything you want. And that's no. Do you feel like you're in a battle with yourself? I mean, you wake up in the morning and you feel positive and you feel juiced, you feel amped. And then you go through the day and you're doing pretty good. But about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, all of a sudden you start to feel negative and you have negative thoughts coming into your mind. And if it's about money, you start worrying about money. If it's about a relationship, you start wondering if it's ever going to happen. If it's about your personal success, you're doubting. And by the time 7, 8 o'clock rolls around at night, you are in a low vibrational funk. We're going to change that with this method. Now, some of you may wake up in a negative place, in a lower vibrational funk. But as the day gets going, things get better for you. Either way, it's the same. You have counter intentions that are working against you to manifest what you deserve and desire. This technique will help you deal with your counter negative intentions and put you in a place of absolute certainty, of knowingness that whatever you desire, you already have. So I want to tell you how I discovered this method and how it began to work for me. Many years ago, I owned a small shop, and usually around the end of the day, I would pour myself a glass of wine in the back room. And I'd go in the back room. We had a recliner there, we had a couch, and I'd have a glass of wine to unwind. I don't do that anymore, but that's where my head was at the time. I had somebody working for me that I had just hired, and she said, "Hey, I heard you popped the cork. Can I come back and join you?" And I said, "Well, yeah, lock the front door and come on back." And she sat down. I poured her a glass of wine, and she said to me, she said, "You're talking about making money. You're talking about being abundant. You're talking about having an incredible life. But what makes you think, Robert, that anything is going to change in your life? I mean, you're pretty old. And if it hasn't happened by now, what makes you think it will ever happen?" That's what she said to me after she had a full glass of my wine. She asked me that question as we sat there talking, and I was dumbfounded for a moment. And then all of a sudden, like brilliance went off in my head. It's like I came out of the funk and I could think clearly for a moment. And I said to her the following, and I want you to write it down. I said to her, "I don't know how, and I don't know when, but I'm absolutely certain everything I desire is already mine." Think about that. I don't know how. I don't need to know how all the time. And I don't know the exact date, but I'm certain that whatever it is I desire, it's already mine. I wouldn't be given such intense desires without a reason if it wasn't possible for me to have the outcome of my desire. Neither would you. And then she said to me, "Well, Robert, how do you know?" And I said, "I know because the universe always has my back." And then the conversation, high flyers, got very interesting. She said to me, she said, "Robert, I think you're delusional." And I answered her in these words: Exactly. I am delusional. You see, people that manifest the impossible in their life and in the world, people like the Wright brothers and Einstein and Thomas Edison and all these great inventors, or people like the Beatles who came from nowhere, people who create from nothing, are delusional to the rest of the world at that time. If somebody would have went to the Beatles, John, Paul, Ringo, and George, and said, "You are going to be the most famous group of all time," when they were walking the back alley streets of Liverpool, they would have believed it, but nobody else would. The funny thing is, I felt no hostility toward this woman, none whatsoever. I was glad for the questions. Well, she never came in the next day. I went to her place to find out if she was okay. They said she never lived there. Nobody in town had ever heard of this person. I was shocked. And over a period of time, I began to wonder if this woman even existed. I mean, I had all of her employment information and none of it matched up. She didn't exist. She literally did not exist. So, over a period of time, I began to conclude that she represented some higher force, whether she was physical and real or whether she was part of my delusion. I replayed the conversation over and over and over again in my mind. And I realized that that conversation was designed to shake me out of my being stuck, my negative thoughts, my fears, my doubts, my worries, my anxieties. It took me from where I was at to where I'm at now. So here's what to do: sit down quietly in a room, turn off your phone, turn off all the electronics, and sit in a chair and visualize that someone is tapping you on the left shoulder. Next, hear a voice say, in the sound of your own voice, by the way, "How do you know you'll be rich? How do you know you'll get your specific person? How do you know you'll be successful?" Whatever question that you're struggling with, have this person ask that question to you. And here's your answer: I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm absolutely certain everything I want is already mine. After you've said that, snap your fingers and immediately open your eyes and embrace a world of absolute certainty. High flyers, repeat this simple technique as often as you need. High flyers, when that lady asked me that important question, "How do you know?" and I gave her that answer, it was because for a moment I dug deep and I pulled on absolute certainty. That's your power. That's your manifesting core, your absolute certainty. Believe it, trust it, expect it. It's already yours. Want to remind you to subscribe to our channel because we're here almost every day to empower your life with the law of attraction.